my best friend. That's my best friend.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Mo Flips. I got you set up right here at my speedometer. So you guys are looking at me through the steering wheel. I don't know if this video is going to come out or not because this car has no air conditioning. Leroy's got to take it in on Monday. But I don't like to leave the cars low on fuel when they're at my house, so I'm getting some gas. Anyway, interesting conversation took place yesterday with a subscriber. And we were talking about the differences between, positive reviews and negative reviews on like Google and Yelp and Angie's List and all this other nonsense. And I had mentioned that, for us selling, and I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of this at all. But for the guys like myself that sell dollar menu cars, chances are our clientele is going to be a lot different than the buy here, pay here clientele, and a lot different than the financing clientele. Now, the higher you go on that list, the bottom is going to be cash cars. Then you have the buy here, pay here, where reviews start to count. Then you have typical financing, where it really, in my opinion, matters. The reason why I'm making this video is because we are opening up our own dealership down here in Florida, and this is a conversation that we have collectively as a group because one of us wants to continue to do cash cars. One of us wants to start selling higher end bank financing cars only, and me, I want to do all three. But if I had to get rid of one, I would get rid of the bank financing cars. With that being said, here's the reason why. When at any time you have dollar menu cars on your lot, and you're gonna notice this, if you go back to some of Flying Wheels videos, he mentions it. He has a separate lot where he has his dollar menu cars because he's protecting his brand. And this is what you gotta think about. If you walked into a dealership with horrible reviews, right? Would you feel comfortable, number one, buying a car from them? Number two, giving them your social security number to run credit checks on you? I wouldn't. I'll tell you that right the fuck now. I don't like giving my social security number to fucking banks, let alone some fucking used car dealer. So, with that being said, the mentality of the cash and carry customer is they always get fucked. The reason being is 90% of those people are buying cars under the price of $3,500. Those cars are meant for one thing and one thing only. They are meant to get you from point A to point B. Are they all bad? No, they're not all bad. Do they all have things wrong with them? Yes, to a certain degree, there's things that are wrong with them. So, with that being said, those individuals who don't give a shit and never read a review are the first people to leave you a negative review. It's crazy the way the mindset works. Now, you have the buy here, pay here person. They're gonna come in and they don't give a shit about your reviews, okay? For the most part, because they want to know what can they walk out with $1,000 in a monthly payment plan that they can afford. And obviously they can't go the traditional way because their credit is challenged. Challenged like a motherfucker. So listen, they have repos, they have evictions, they have the worst fucking credit, or they're in the process of rebuilding their credit and they're just there, but they're not there yet, okay? So, they are the ones that will buy this car from you, and it's a little bit nicer of a used car, but it's still a used car. And what they're going to do is the same thing. They're going to leave you a review, whether it's good or bad. So now, for me, when I was doing buy here, pay here, I was the king of extending the loan period. So I bought a certain car or a certain group of cars that all share the same engine, all share the same transmission, for the most part. And there was 3 separate groups of them, and those are the ones that did it. The motors were cheap, the transmissions were cheap, the labor was cheap. The car in of itself was pretty cheap, but they looked nice, you know. They had the nice radio, they had the nice stock wheels, the car was super clean, etc., etc. So God forbid something did happen to one of these cars that was catastrophic, where we're putting a new engine in it, right? Or putting a new transmission in it. Yes, I could lay out the money for that, make some money on it, and extend the life of their loan, right? Or what I like to do was befriend them. Oh man, I'm so sorry that happened. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me take that car back. I'll put you into this other car. It's a lot nicer. The payments I could probably keep the same. You know, and let's move down that. Now, what I just did was I got rid of their old contract. I put them on a brand new contract, okay, which means now we reset the timeline, if not added more months to it, because I know they're a good payer. Excuse me. The pollen is crazy. And they're happy because they didn't take any time to get their car fixed. They brought me the broken car. I got them out of there with a brand new car, new to them, and just, you know, finagled some paperwork and everyone's happy. You don't skip a beat, right? Now they're going to leave you a positive review because you're not like, oh, well, fuck you, that's your problem. Because once the car stops, the check stops. Okay? So they'll leave you a good review for the most part. Now, where the reviews are absolutely 110%, you know, applicable, they are the bank financing. Anyone who has credit to get approved by a bank, for the most part, will look at your reviews. They're the type of person who can shop pretty much anywhere and get approved, okay? They're the person who's going to want to know your business tactics. So they see negative reviews for $2,000 cars. It doesn't matter. You still have a negative review. All right. So with that being said, reviews come into play. And that's why with the group that I'm in, if we got to pick, do we want to do dollar menu cars or do we want to do bank financing? It's hard to do both. Excuse me. It's hard to do both because of the reviews. Because I would not, like I said, give my social to someone who had negative reviews. How do I know, number one, that I'm not getting a lemon? How do I know, number two, that they're not going to sell my information, etc., etc.? Maybe I'm a worrywart. I don't know. I have decent credit and I want to get it better, so I'm very protective of it. So with that being said, guys, that's something to think about when you're comparing buy here, pay here, financing, and dollar menu cash cars. Now, you can still do cash cars and buy here, pay here, and sell a nicer vehicle, because what I'm getting into now is the $8,000 to $10,000 cars retail, but I still have a lot of cash cars. The reason being is I tell them they need to secure their own financing, which helps them out because they could go to their credit union or bank and get a much better rate than I would be able to offer them with subprime lending, and they come to me still with cash. So you're getting the best of both worlds, and they don't necessarily care about your feedbacks, because your reviews, because they're handling their own financing. So to them, it doesn't matter. This fucking jerk off went from the turning lane on the right across 2 lanes to the turning lane on the left and cut this fucking jerk off in front of me off. Motherfuckers. Anyway, this is the shit that, you know, you'll have to think about when you're setting up your business, when you're setting up your dealership. All this shit comes into play. So another thing, let's talk about the money of the 3. You can buy nicer cars and finance them, but like the subscriber I was talking to last night, he's sitting around with a lot of stock, like a lot of inventory that's not selling right now. You know, he had a pretty decent month for his first month in business. He sold 4 cars. He probably made a little bit of cash, you know, and that's great. But when you think about it, I just sold, this week, I sold my Mercedes. I sold it's a 2003 SL 500. It was in rough shape. I spent $2,000 on it, $500 to fix it. All right. And I ended up selling it for $5,000. So I made $2,500 on that deal. I sold my Transit. I think I was into the Transit for 25 and change. And we ended up selling that one for $5,500. So that was nice. And again, these are all cash deals, all right? And then I sold, I don't know if I showed you guys, but I picked up a Malibu for $540, 250,000 miles on it. And I sold that one for $1,200 yesterday, as a matter of fact. So when you add it up and you do the money, that's fine. We're making money with cash cars. Those are really good examples. Chances are you're going to make $1,000 a car with cash cars, or maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but you know, bank on 1,000, and that's what you're going to get. With these financing cars, you're probably going to make $2,000 to $3,000 or more, not much more, but you have a lot more invested, and the waiting game is there. And when you're dealing with people that have credit, they can go anywhere. So with cash cars, you could buy anything. With financing cars, you have to buy, in my opinion, the finest example of said vehicle, because that buyer can go anywhere they want. So why would they buy your beat up car for the same price as they could go get approved for a nice one? All right. Long story short, guys, there is no right way to do it. It's how you do it. And it's funny, I broke the door here too, so like I gotta do this number to get out. And that's it. You know, you gotta do what's right for you. But just know that the three types of dealerships are extremely different. The buy here, pay here can kind of go with either or, as long as you're doing the right thing post sale. The cash cars really cannot. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
That's my best friend.